Hey everybody, I am David, and today I want to talk about some of these MCU characters that have died in some of the previous films. These could be supporting characters or major characters. The reason I'm doing this video is because I noticed some people feel that there's a lack of deaths in the MCU. And yeah, maybe we haven't gotten the big ones to have been killed off yet, but that doesn't mean that other characters, important characters in my opinion, who helped the characters get where they are today, that doesn't mean important characters haven't been killed off. And I thought I'd do a video to kind of remind people of some of the important supporting characters, or even major characters, some maybe one or two major characters have been killed off in recent films or even past films. So let's get right into this, and I should warn you, yes, there are going to be some spoilers for maybe current MCU films. So let's get right into this. The first character I have on my list is Jensen from Iron Man, the original Iron Man back in 2008. Jensen was a very important character. He helped Iron Man, aka Tony Stark, become who he is. He helped created Mark 1, the very first suit that Tony Stark needed to help him escape from that place. And unfortunately, Jensen sacrificed himself to help Tony in that instance. And I think people forget about that one. That was a pretty big death and a pretty big deal. It was someone who Tony actually bonded with. And you can say that's the point where Tony started realizing the kind of man he wanted to be. Next on the list I have from Captain America, the First Avenger, Dr. Erskine. This is the guy who gave Captain America his powers, and I think it's important because he was the guy who selected Steve Rogers in becoming Captain America, and he had to remind him before the procedure went, before they were gonna have drinks together, and he said, oh, no. I'll have the drink, and oh, maybe we can have it tomorrow. No. I don't have procedure. You have procedure. I drink it now. No, I think he's a character that needs to be remembered because he told Steve, just remember to always be a good man. And Steve Rogers to this day is still that Boy Scout that we love, but he can be badass at the same time. So that's why we love Steve Rogers, because of who he is and who he stayed true to himself. And I think it was because of Dr. Erskine realizing that. So we should remember this character as well. Iron Man 3, we got Maya Hansen. Now, I was debating whether I should have her on this list because she was kind of a villain in some ways, but in other ways she was also an ally to Tony Stark because she did help him at the very end. She did kind of redeem herself to help Tony. Even though it was a little bit too late maybe for some people, I thought I'd mention her on this list because she was a very important part to Tony Stark. Thor, the Dark World, we got Frigga. Frigga is the mother of Loki and Thor, and I'm surprised this one doesn't get mentioned enough because I felt Frigga, I didn't see that death coming. So when this death happened, I was really shocked, and especially when they made her a stronger character, I felt in this movie. Maybe not super strong. Maybe she's not like the most memorable female character. But hey, man, she had some skills that she showed off there. And I was surprised that they killed her off like that. It was like, wow, Odin is still alive, but Frigga is gone. And she was the connective tissue that Thor and Loki needed to work together on that mission. In Guardians of the Galaxy, we have two deaths. We got Peter's mom, who obviously is a very important part to Peter Quill's life, and we also got one of the Nova Corps members, Denarian Saul, who fought alongside Rocket Raccoon in towards the end of the film. And these are both very important characters. Maybe Denarian Saul not so much, but Peter Quill's mom, obviously, she is a character that is very important to Peter Quill's life. And we learn a little bit more about her death in part 2, which I'm not going to spoil. In Avengers Age of Ultron, obviously we got Quicksilver here. Quicksilver, probably the biggest character on this list, definitely. And the brother of Scarlet Witch. But let's face it, Quicksilver, I think, was an easy one for them to kill off, especially since, X-Men Days of Future Past has the better Quicksilver. I'm just going to say that. Doctor Strange, the Ancient One, was killed, played by Tilda Swinton. This was a interesting death, in my opinion, because, again, it was one that I didn't see coming. I thought they would have had her for at least one more movie. And no, they kill her in the first film. It was really interesting, and it was a really well done scene too. And I actually really like the scene where Doctor Strange goes to the realm of the dead, I guess, where he sees her spirit and they have one last conversation. I thought it was really a well executed way to write her off, and a character that hopefully they keep dead. They don't try to resurrect her, because I think that's the thing that people are most frustrated with the MCU, is when they kill a character off and they bring them back to life. But I have a feeling the Ancient One is going to stay dead. Finally, the last one on my list, I got Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Biggest spoiler here, so be careful. Yondu. Yondu, that's right, was killed in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And for good reason, he was a father figure to Peter Quill, and maybe a truer father than what he actually found in the movie. So, yeah, Yondu, I think, will be remembered as the second most popular death, right next to Quicksilver. Maybe even more popular than Quicksilver. I've seen people responding more to Yondu's death than any other of these other deaths that I've seen. And maybe that just shows how effective Guardians of the Galaxy is right now. I don't know if it has to do with Guardians of the Galaxy being separate from all the other MCU movies, or maybe just this character just being a more impactful character. And they did set him up nicely to have this death. So it was a death that was earned. And maybe some of these other characters weren't earned. I felt they were all earned, and they all played a great part in the characters' journeys. And so hopefully this video, guys, will make people more aware that, yes, there are deaths that have happened, and none of these guys have come back to life yet. It's not like Agent Coulson, who was killed, and I still think should have stayed dead. But fine, they created Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent Coulson's alive, so now we have to deal with that. And if we're going to have him back to life, bring him back into the movies. Because I think he deserves it, and I think the Avengers deserve to know that he's still alive. Especially before some of their stories wrap up. So, with that being said, I hope this list was useful to you guys. If anybody out there, you see somebody complaining that no one ever dies in the MCU, here's a list that can help you prove to them, no, there's characters that die in the MCU. You just don't remember them. Maybe because they weren't that big, or their deaths weren't that impactful, or maybe they just slipped their mind a little bit and they just need a little reminder. That's why I did this video. So until next time, guys, I hope you like and subscribe to my channel. And until next time, take care.